All right, we are live. And Andy, did you? I'm doing this all wrong, but welcome to once again three dudes talking sports, three people talking sports. Because eventually, I will have some women will be joining us to talk sports. Andy, did you retweet it and all that stuff and do what you do and say that we're live and all that kind of stuff? Because you're good at that.
I'm doing my we're live tweet right now, actually, as we're doing
Okay,
this. But I
cool.
did retweet it.
All right, so I'm Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Joining me once again is Willy Gibson, journalist, whose main beat, I guess his main beat is covering the Ohio State University. And
Yep.
Andy Yanez, young colleague with community newspaper, started his job this week. We got to talk about that too, man. Your
Oh
new
yeah.
job, how it's gone for you. But
Sure.
tweet it out, Andy. Make sure you tweet it out. Okay, let me know that you press send. I'm giving you a chance. I'm giving one particular person, Mr. Andre A.J. Jones of the Lunch Break, KYOK. You're gonna get the proof that I do okay when it comes to singing. So AJ, I hope you're watching. If not, you can watch I'll send you the link on the YouTube channel, and you can watch it or on Facebook because got to broaden the horizons and reach more audience. So my Facebook page for the Houston Roundball Review, as well as on YouTube at Houston Roundball Review. Here we go. The folks who were at my sister's birthday party last Saturday got a taste of it. My sister called me out, wanted me to sing a song, Can You Stand the Rain, from New Edition song. I'm sure it's older than Andy. I think it is probably older than Andy,
What year did
honestly.
it come out?
So, oh wow, what year did it come out? Will in the '90s, right? So
Wow. 90s. Yeah, definitely 90s.
early
Yeah,
'90s. So yeah,
way before my time.
see you right there. See you right there. But
Oh,
that's why you're here, man. That's why you're part of the show to add the younger generation to it. All right, here we go, man. On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. When that's not possible, tell me, can you weather a storm? I see, Will, you're supposed to chime in and do the Ralph part right there,
no, bro. No, you got it. You got
That's
it.
good.
So yeah, so there we go. So I hope people are tuned in right there. And I got lyrics to one of my favorite songs that I may chime in toward the end of the show. But my man Ethan Lewis, may he rest in peace. But let's get into it. I think Hawks Sixers has started,
Yeah.
so we're going to talk about that as well. How do y'all want to do it, man? We're going to just talk basketball, live tweet stuff, or live discuss as the game goes on. But let's just talk about the crater job, blowing a 26-point lead that Philadelphia did in Game 5 to now trail this series 3-2. What are your thoughts, Will, on the crater? Whose fault is it? Is it everybody's fault? Is it one particular player's fault? Is it Doc Rivers' fault? The whole coaching staff's fault? Daryl Morey's fault? Whose fault is it? What do you say? Will? Oh, Will's frozen.
I
Oh,
think
so you
he
got a gremlin
froze.
already. So I wonder why. I wonder why he had moved. Yeah. So, okay. Okay, Andy.
I
Well,
didn't even
it's on
realize
you
he was
then.
frozen.
So yeah. So what
Man.
say you?
Oh, Philadelphia. Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, and see, we're going back to. I was talking to a couple of people during the week about how some people just seem cursed. You talk about Chris Paul, who he had his health complication. The Clippers looks like they're on the verge again. Can they finally do it? Can they get to the conference finals? And it looks like they're might lose Kawhi for the playoffs with whatever his knee injury is. And then Doc Rivers, multiple teams he's coached, had 3-1 leads, haven't been able to finish the series against the Hawks. Not necessarily that's the case, but up big at home against an Atlanta Hawks team that, I mean, really, some people didn't even pick them to get past the Knicks.
Us.
And yeah, us.
Right. Yeah.
Led by a young superstar. Well, he's not a superstar. Yeah, a young star, and Trae Young overcome that huge deficit and beat Philadelphia in their home court. I mean, there's not much you can say. And really, Philadelphia with their two stars, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid's in a bit of a interesting spot. Obviously, he's dealing with his injury too. Ben Simmons has become a hack of Simmons, which is so unusual to see from anyone that's not a huge center. Obviously, with the Rockets, they always used to do it to Dwight Howard. You're not used to seeing that with Ben Simmons. But I mean, when you blow that big of a lead, the blame's got to go around everyone. You can't just blame the coach. You can't just blame the players. It's both. You got to execute, but you got to make adjustments too. And whatever Philly did, they failed to do both. Didn't get in that game 5. And right now, Atlanta's kind of bringing it to them.
Well, whose fault is it?
It's easy to blame Doc Rivers. It's 10 times, I believe.
Yep.
He's lost a series as coach when his team held a series lead. So it's easy to say, oh, it's Doc. And some of it, as Andy said, does lay at his feet. Tobias Harris, for me in Game 5, 4 points. Where is he? Where was he? I don't understand his deal on Wednesday night. Joel Embiid and the second player, only 2 players scored in the second half or made baskets.
Seth Curry.
Seth Curry,
yeah.
Seth Curry and Joel Embiid, the only 2 players on a 15-man roster who made field goals in the second half of a playoff game at home. It's a lot of blame to go around. So Doc, yeah, and you mentioned, I heard you, Kris. Well, I'll leave it there. You probably be mentioning, who you think, but it has to be a round robin of blame. And I know it seems like a cop-out answer, but everybody's responsible.
I mean, I think there's a blame to go around. Ben Simmons scored, I think, made 2 free throws in the second half. No field goals. He attempted 1 field goal in the fourth quarter. I think 0 field goals in the third quarter. He played 20 minutes in the second half of Game 5 and took 1 shot. Was he afraid he was going to get fouled? Is that why he didn't attack the basket? Is that why he did nothing to help his team on offense? But I also blame Doc Rivers for playing Ben Simmons 20 minutes. For allowing Hacker Ben to become a strategy. Ben was 4 for 14 from the line. There comes a point where, yeah, you want to trust your player. He's going to make him. But there has to come a point where you realize he is not helping your team. He's not making his free throws, and it's hurting the team, and it's also giving the opponent confidence and helping them come back. So why didn't Shake Milton get more minutes? Somebody else to share the load with Seth Curry and Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's knee is an issue. I think his stamina is an issue. Second half, you're seeing he struggled to make shots in the second half of the last 2 games. So everybody has to share some blame in that loss. And they are losing now by 9 to the Hawks. I said earlier on KYLK that some way, somehow, I picked the Sixers to come somehow win this game, force a Game 7. But I honestly believe they were mentally broken after Game 5. So it would not surprise me if they lose tonight, Game 6, and get waxed. Just get run out of the gym. Because I think their confidence in each other, their confidence in Doc, the staff, took a huge blow, blowing that lead in Game 5. And that's a problem. That means you need to make changes.
Yeah, that was my question. That was the question I had. So what changes do you make? Do you get Simmons out of there? Well, I mean, at this point, do you even if you want to get him and you want to move him, do you get value after this playoff performance? I don't know.
Well, if he has a poor Game 6, you really have to decide, Morey in the front office have to decide what they're willing to accept for him. Because if his game has not improved, and it hasn't, if he's unwilling to add to his game, improve his game, if he can't get to the rim, his mid-range game is not good. His three-point game is not good. His free throw shooting is not good. So you get to that point, I think you should just decide, okay, what can we get for him? Joel Embiid hasn't yet, but if Joel Embiid goes to the front office and says, look, I'm man on this team. Ben Simmons and I don't fit. So Ben needs to go. If our goal as a franchise is to win NBA championship, Ben needs to go. Look at what Ben Simmons, he has gotten by thus far in his career on his natural ability.
Yep.
He has not worked on his game. He has not improved his game. And at some point as a franchise, that's a problem. If your second player, star player, the hope, foundation, core of your franchise is unwilling or unable to add to his game, you need to let him go because he's hurting the franchise. So, that's where I stand on that. I was guest with David Grubb yesterday on the lunch break with KYK, and David, New Orleans based, Louisiana based, so he saw Ben Simmons at LSU, and he said Ben Simmons was a problem at LSU. He thought he was better than he was then, unwilling to improve his work on his game then. You couldn't tell him anything. If that's still the case, you gotta just accept your losses and move on. And
I feel like this. Oh, so go ahead.
Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I feel the same conversation and the same statement that I made last week on Yanez. And I'll preface this by saying, by no means, I'm not anti-player. I'm not anti-getting paid. Get your money. Get your money. If it's offered, sign it. But Ben Simmons is already a max player. And the same thing with Yanez. What's the incentive now to work on your game? You've already cashed out. You've already maxed player. Pride. We say we want to win championships, but championship players don't go 4 for 14 in the playoff game from the line. Championship players don't shoot one time in the second half. I mean, even if you're missing shots, you put pressure on. You make Atlanta's defense have to think about it or adjust or something. But to go out there and not take a shot in the fourth quarter, that's crazy. But again, what's the incentive? I'm in the league. I'm a max player. Why do I have to work on my game?
I think pride is a key because once you got the checks, once you're paid, and all those things, it is pride. It has to be pride. And many elite players, championship players, have that pride, have that pride and that drive to want to get better every summer. And not everybody does. That's what separates them from everybody else. If Ben Simmons is one of those folks who just is accepting getting paid and is unwilling to improve in the summer, that's who he is. Okay, that's what he wants to be. I don't want him on my team. So Agreed. It's up to the Sixers to, if that's what they decide, then let him go. Trade him somewhere, accept that you're not going to get max value for him in return. But in the end, is that a problem for you? If he's unwilling to improve, could be addition by subtraction. I think you want players on your team who want to get better in the summer, who have pride and want to improve, who are not just collecting a check. That's what I think I would want. So it's on Ben Simmons.
And you think he would be being a clutch sports guy, a Rich Paul guy, for lack of conversation, a LeBron guy. I mean, for him to be in that circle and to perform the way he's performed, not just this year, but throughout his career, as David said, LSU, and not improve, there's a lot of questions there. A lot of questions.
And Andy, I'm gonna go to you with this. I'm not a fan of Giannis's game. His game has holes. But game 6, he was aggressive. He didn't go a quarter without taking a shot. You didn't have to wonder, yo, Giannis, man, do something. Yo, Giannis, do something on offense. He was attacking. That's all he knows. He didn't have a great low post game or anything like that. But he made things happen for his teammates. I think Ben also only had 4 assists in game 5. Okay, that's a problem too. We all know that part of getting assists is your teammates making shots. That's part of it too, but still. Giannis was much more aggressive than Ben Simmons. And that's part of it. What do you say about that? At least be aggressive. If you're going to lose, be aggressive.
Yeah, I agree. You hit it right in the nail. And kind of I believe it was Chris Paul who said it last postseason, or I'm quoting Chris Paul, some people are built for it, some people are not. And when you see Giannis and the way he attacks and prepares for games, you can tell that he's not just doing lip service. He wants the moment. He wants to win an NBA championship. And sometimes he might be limited with his game and with the stuff he can do and the way other teams play him. With Ben Simmons, and it's much more different because he's not the number one guy. But I agree. I mean, at some point, you got to say, you know what? If stuff isn't going down, give me the ball, at least attack. And you see Joel Embiid, he's playing through that partial meniscus tear, and he's putting up numbers. I mean, if you are playing next to him, and that's still not enough to get you motivated to keep improving the offseason, I mean, I don't know what else can.
And I think that's the issue for Philly. Okay, first quarter stats. Ben Simmons picked up 2 fouls in 5 minutes, was 1 for 2 from the floor tonight in those 5 minutes, 1 rebound, no assists. Joel Embiid, 2 for 7 from the floor. Philly was 10 for 26 in the first quarter from the floor, 2 for 9 from three-point range. Korkmaz was 0 for 2 from 3. Matisse Thybulle was 0 for 2 from 3. Shake Milton was 0 for 1. Seth Curry was 2 for 3. Joel Embiid was 0 for 1 from 3, 2 for 6 from 2. So that's an issue. For the Hawks, Trae Young, 4 for 6 from the floor, 1 3-pointer, 2 for 3 from the line. Trae had 11 points in the first quarter. Kevin Huerter had 6 points in the first quarter. Hawks lead 29-22 at the end of the first quarter. Hawks shot 12 for 21 from the floor in that first quarter, 2 for 6 from the three-point line, 3 for 7 from the foul line. Clint Capella's part of that. Clint went 0 for 2 from the line. So Hawks up 7. They're 36 minutes away from getting to the Eastern Conference Finals, and making the Sixers have to decide what they're going to do in the offseason. I don't believe Doc Rivers is in trouble. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say one thing that stands out to me just looking at the box score. Philadelphia only has 1 free throw for that first quarter. And that's another thing. You're talking about being aggressive. I mean, this is win or go home. You got to be more in attack mode.
And that's on the players. Okay, the coaches can prepare you, get you a game plan. When the game starts, especially the first quarter, it's on the players to be aggressive. A coach cannot make you be aggressive. A coach can tell you, hey, we got to hit him in the mouth tonight. We got to come out fighting. We got to come out running. The players got to do that. So Sixers started cut it to 4 now, early in the second quarter. So maybe they're showing some life. And I'm kind of curious to see what they do without Ben Simmons. If he stays in foul trouble, what will they do with him on the bench? They might do pretty well.
Might be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I have a question. And I don't know. I'll say this. I'm not asking this because I already have an answer in my mind. I'm thinking about it as I ask it. Who do you pair with Embiid? Ben Simmons clearly isn't it. So who do you pair with Embiid?
A point guard. You can keep Seth Curry in the lineup because Seth is a 3-point shooter and spaces the floor. but someone who can at least, this is not going to happen, but someone like Chris Paul, someone who can get his, but also gets his teammates involved as well. Someone like that. Ben Simmons ain't that. You need somebody who can settle down the team when things are shaky, all that. He can run the offense, get everybody on the same page, dictate where they need to be on the floor and on offense. If things aren't working as a team, he'll get it done himself and get you buckets. Somebody like that.
Didn't Philly trade for George Hill?
They did. George Hill is struggling. Yeah.
He is.
George Hill, young George Hill was effective.
Right.
I don't know what he is right now. Let's see. He's played 8 minutes tonight. 0 for 1 from the line. He's got 1 assist. He got 2 steals though. He's a plus 10 plus minus in his 8 minutes. It's a 2-point game now. 29-27. So Sixers are making a run with Ben Simmons on the bench. And
Kris,
go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw in another name. What do you think about Bradley Beal? How would that pairing go? Bradley Beal and Joel Embiid.
I think it could work. I don't believe Wizards will trade Bradley Beal to the same conference unless you give them, a king's ransom. But I don't think Brad wants to lead the Wizards. I think he's going to try to make. Plus, I think Brad will have a lot to say in who the new coach was going to be. Which gets me to my next topic. We got 7 openings in the NBA right now, coaching: Boston, Dallas, Indiana, New Orleans, Orlando, Portland, and Washington. Of those 7, who do you think which team is the best job for the next head coach? Wow, y'all giving this a lot of thought. I would think Boston right off the top.
You would think it's Dallas.
It's Boston.
Boston and Dallas. You would think Dallas. And the reason
it's Boston. Oh, good, Andy.
Go ahead. No, y'all, we got to debate here. Go ahead, Andy.
I was between those two. Obviously, I feel like those two are the clear cut above all the other jobs. And the reason I didn't pick Boston is Luka Doncic. I feel has like the higher ceiling. And now why it's a toss up, or not even the higher ceiling, but so far he's shown that he's more versatile and stuff. But when it comes to the Mavericks, now there are reports coming that Luka Doncic is unhappy, and that whole situation blew up in less than a week, and with how everything fell apart. So that's why I'm a little up in the air. When you got to Boston, they're certainly in a different situation. It's interesting to see the role that Brad Stevens took over, but they have Jason Tatum, who's has potential superstar status to be one of those top 10 players in the league. So I think those two are the quicker destinations. And Jaylen Brown, that's right. I forgot because of the injury. That's right, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, if he returns to his form after injury, Brown and Tatum, I think Boston is the top of these 7. I think they're the top choice. And then Luka, Dallas with Luka. Luka is not going to turn down that $200 million extension. He's not going to do that. Which puts it on Cuban, now Dirk Nowitzki, who is a consultant for the coach and GM. It's on them to surround Luka with better talent. Luka's great, Luka's talented, but Luka cannot win by himself. There is no elite player that has won by himself. I don't care how great MJ was. He had Pippen. He had Horace. He had Dennis Rodman, Steve Kerr, Ron Harper. That's what championship teams are. You have an alpha male, a lead bucket getter. But you need guys to be the glue guys. You need guys to be the defensive people. You need guys to be the rebounders. You need other guys to make clutch shots. Mike did win a championship without Scottie Pippen. He won 6, but Pippen was with him all the time. So Akeem Olajuwon won 2. He was great most of his career, but he didn't win those titles without help, without Sam Cassell, Clyde, Kenny Smith, Robert Horry, Vernon Maxwell 1 year, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Kobe, LeBron, D Wade, Chris Bosh, Steph, Clay, Draymond, KD. Teams win championships. And let me get on that. We'll get back to the rest of the list in a second. What are your thoughts on, this is my take on this. I think too many folks in media allow themselves to think like fans and get all on the superstar train, and as if it's only superstars win championships. I don't believe that. Teams win championships. And here this is for Will specifically, because Andy, you're 21, right?
Correct.
Okay, this is for you, Will, and you chime in afterwards. Will, what are your thoughts on those folks in media who like to spew out, well, if Mike had not have gone away, the Rockets would not have won those 2 championships?
It's what you said. It's what you said. Media turns into fandom at certain points, and it's crazy because no, Michael was done. He said, if the man himself, you hearing the man himself say, "I was done," had he come back those 2 years, he wasn't equipped for the grind to win.
He came back one of those years and lost to Orlando.
Exactly.
folks forgot that.
You know what, Chris? I'm glad you brought that up. And this is my thing with MJ fans. Period. Mike played 15 years, but according to them, he only played 6.
Yes.
He played the 6 years that he won the championship, and that's it. Oh my gosh, that's a problem. He never made it out the first round. People talk about, he scored 63 in the Garden. That was a closeout game. They got swept. They got swept in that series.
They lost that game. They lost that game.
They lost that game. Thank you. But no, people forget the finals against Seattle when Michael went 5 for 19. And Scotty had to take over and win a game. We don't talk about those things, but we see the 6. We get 6, and we get that. But it's like, let's talk in totality. He played 15 years. Never mind the 2 years in Washington, let alone the 7 years in Chicago he didn't win. They act as though the 2 years in Washington don't even exist. So, it's to answer your question. It's not automatic that he comes back, or if he doesn't leave, he wins 8 straight. I mean, it's hyperbole. It's something to talk about.
It is. And folks, media, now get back to media to add to your point. Mike's first 6 years in the league, there were people questioning if he was a team player to lead a team to a championship. People, and that's because of the Pistons were smacking them around, and they're like, well, Mike doesn't have enough help. Can Mike win it all? Can Mike lead a team to a championship? That was the talk Mike's first 6 years in the NBA. Then he wins one, then another one. He got help. He got help from his teammates. And it's like the first 6 years didn't even happen. He just like disappeared, and he just, his NBA career began when he won his first championship.
Right.
And I'm not stupid. I'm not hating on Mike. Mike was a hell of a player. We all know that. But take his entire career in total. Don't forget about before the 6 and then after the 6. There's no one in the NBA who's Bill Russell's the closest to win a championship every year that they played in the NBA. That is hard to do. Kobe played 20 years, won 5 championships. What happened to the other 15 years?
Right.
He still played, but he's not win championships. It's amazing how media seems to have selective memory when it comes to these things. So, it really pisses me off. Say it's on live stream here on YouTube channel. How some folks, I remember reading people in media would argue me down. Oh, the Bulls would have won 8 straight. How do you know that? Mike could have broke his foot again. Mike could have torn his ACL again. A whole lot of stuff could have happened in those 2 years. Literally 1 year because he came back.
He could have gotten the flu. Food poisoning again. Leave that there.
A whole bunch of stuff could have happened. Fans talk about if. Media should not be doing that. Don't talk. Media, we should be dealing with facts and reality and what happens, what we see. Report what we see. Report what we hear, what we know. Don't get into this what if stuff. What if? Because what if I could put on my Detroit Piston hat? What if the Pistons were a minute away from winning 3 in a row? With that, as in the Piston eyes, that phantom foul called against Bill and Beer against Kareem, the first time the Pistons made the NBA Finals. Folks will talk about that. But the Bulls this, the Bulls out, Mike this, Mike that. No, come on, folks. We know Mike was great, but he wasn't perfect. He didn't win 15 seasons, right, Will? 15.
15.
6 rings. That means 9 times he didn't win a ring.
Yep.
Okay. 9 more than 6.
Thank you.
And to the folks who talk about it's all about the ring, Bill Russell has 11. Robert Ory has 7. One more time. Robert Ory has 7. 7's more than 6.
Thank you.
So if it's all about the ring, are you going to sit there and tell me Robert Ory is better than Mike? Hell no. But that's what folks, it's all about the ring. It's all about this. Okay. Robert Ory won 7. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Robert Ory is not a Hall of Fame player. I know Rudy T, he believes Robert should be in the Hall of Fame. I disagree. But once again, Robert Ory has more rings than Mike. Robert Ory has more rings than Kobe, more rings than Shaq, more rings than Tim Duncan, more rings than Isaiah Thomas, more rings than Joe Dumars, more rings than a lot of folks. But Robert Ory is not better than any of them. More rings than LeBron, D Wade, on and on. But Robert Ory is not better than any of those players. So miss me with that. It's all about the ring talk. Is Robert better than Charles Barkley? No. Robert better than Karl Malone? No. Robert better than Patrick Ewing? No. Robert Ory was in was in position to be on great teams with great big men who could pass out to give him those open threes, which he knocked down. But that's part of his job. But Robert Ory, Big Shot Rob, is not better than Mike because he got 7 rings and Mike has 6. All right, I'm looking at the score here. Hawks are up 5, 39-34.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get back to the. Go ahead.
Hawks went on I'm doing double duty. Hawks went on a 10-2 run when Ben Simmons checked in.
Well,
imagine that.
And we're critical of Ben Simmons because I think he deserves it. So if Ben Simmons is hurting the team tonight, then don't play Ben Simmons. He's still going to get paid regardless. That's not in question. I'm as head coach. We're trying to win, Ben. We're trying to win Game 6 to get to Game 7. And if you're not helping us do that, then I'm sitting your butt down. If you don't like that, we'll deal with that tomorrow. But we're trying to win Game 6. If that's Shake Milton, if that's Tyrese Maxey, we're trying to win Game 6. It's my job as head coach to put the 5 on the floor that I believe will help us win Game 6. And to Ben, if you're not part of that 5, you're not going to play. Thoughts?
Totally agree. Without question. You got to win. It's win or go home. It's cliche-ish, but it's true. You win, that's it. It's exit interviews tomorrow. Do you want to practice? Or do you want to have an exit interview? I'm serious. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is.
That's serious. Okay, let's run down the other two. We got Boston, Dallas as the top 2 job openings. Where would you rank Portland among those 7?
Probably 3rd.
Okay. All right. Who'd be last of those 7? We got 4 left. Indiana, New Orleans, Orlando, Washington.
New Orleans.
Why you say that, Will?
Because I've seen what David Griffin did in Cleveland.
Okay, well, because they have talent. They got more talent than probably any of those other 4.
Do they bring Lonzo back? Do they bring Josh Hart back? B.I. is there. They should, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Again, I've seen David Griffin in action.
Okay. I know. Okay.
And David Griffin, and I think David Grubb said this. I heard someone say this, and it's true. Alvin Gentry was his guy. They came up together in Phoenix, and you got him out of there like that? Or was it you, Kris? Somebody?
No, it was David Grubb. It was David Grubb. Yeah, it was David.
Yeah, I'm like, that's true.
20
Wait
years.
a minute. 20 years. That's your guy. And you get the job and you get him out of there? Like, nah. Even before Orlando, because Orlando is clearly a rebuild. So, now I'm not going to put New Orleans, yeah, that's the least attractive.
What do you say, Andy? You're saying because David Griffin. I understand that. I'd say Orlando because they don't have talent. They don't have Zion, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo, Josh Hart. They don't have those pieces. They don't have. I mean, I think I can name some more people for New Orleans, but Orlando is Orlando. But David Griffin, he's messed up a lot of places. So,
and even then, with what they just did, head coaches probably aren't going to want to go there after what they saw. Apparently, everyone's going to be on a short leash, and now you have members of Zion's family saying that they don't want him in New Orleans. Like, all that stuff will come up.
Yep. And I think JJ Redick, what JJ said when he was traded?
Yes.
Yeah, traded
to Dallas.
And traded to Dallas. And he went public on his podcast, today's athlete, at their own podcast. He said that he's not sure how many players and player agents will trust New Orleans front office, David Griffin, because of how they treated JJ. Because many teams who have vets, they try to, veteran players at the end of their careers on younger teams with younger players, want a chance to win championship. Most of them. Most, not all. Those who don't, I don't want to mess with on my team. They want a chance to win championship. So teams try to send them to a team that has a championship opportunity. JJ, according to JJ, one of the management told him in the offseason, we are going to do that. If we're going to send it to a team with a championship shot or send it to the East Coast so you're close to your family. According to JJ, that's what they told him. That's what he thought. They went back on their word. So bring that up, Will. That point adds more to what you said about David Griffin and New Orleans being 7th among the 7 teams at openings. Mm-hmm. Because how many players want to go there and stay there? Because, if you're traded there, you don't have much of a say. But once you're a free agent, deuces, you're out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this happened. I mean, Chris Paul won it out. Anthony Davis won it out. So it's not just what I currently see. It's yes, David Griffin, but that organization, that franchise. The law of the lid. I don't know, but people do not want to stay in New Orleans. And now you have Lonzo and Josh Hart up. Do they want to come back? Does B.I.? B.I. just got his max contract, but conversations and discussions are he is on the block. And from some outlets. So I don't know. But yeah, it's a lot of uncertainty there. And like and he just said it. You brought in a coach and after 1 year he's gone. So who wants to really go there? I mean, sure, somebody's going to take the job. Don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but
Okay, it gets me to another question. Will any of these 7 openings be filled by a woman and qualified? Becky Hammon, Teresa Weatherspoon, Dawn Staley mentioned in Portland. Any of those 7 will go to any of those women? I say no.
Yeah,
I would say no.
No.
I mean, Kara Lawson potentially in Boston, but you know the 3 names in Boston more most prominently are
Chauncey
Billups, Darvin Ham. So those are the 3 names there. So Kara Lawson, you know, they missed a shot with her as a former assistant in Boston.
Will froze again, but
Frozen.
So
no, but I agree. I don't see it happening, and not this year. And I hate to say it, I feel like when that day comes, it might be not. It probably is not going to be the best ideal situation to take.
I think the best opportunity is Becky Hammon in San Antonio. I think Pop is going to retire. You know, I think Pop's going to retire soon. And I think Becky Hammon will get that job. So I don't. That's what I think. You know, and Pop might have, you know, spoken to Becky and said, just wait here. I'll be done in a year. You know, something like that. Maybe he's already spoken to her about that. But she was the hot name not too long ago. And now she's gone in terms of prospects. You don't even, I just think it was all PR. That's what I think. I think these names, Becky Hammon is a PR move, Teresa Weatherspoon, PR move, Dawn Staley, PR move, Kara Lawson, PR move. I don't believe any of these NBA owners are going to take a shot at hiring women, even though I think they should. I think Becky Hammon is qualified to be a head coach in the NBA. But I do believe, well, I don't know if you heard it when we were logging back in, I think she'll get the Spurs job. I think she's going to replace Pop. Oh, now his audio's down. Okay, let's do some restarting, rebooting.
You're gonna have to, yeah.
Yeah, we still don't hear you, man.
Yeah, that's back-to-back weeks. We have technical difficulties.
So yeah, just do what you got to do. We'll keep talking, but yeah, Andy, because if you can hear us, just prepare for this when you come back to us. We can hear you because I don't know what. Let me move you and come back and see if that works. But let's talk name, image, likeness. Let's see, we got 19. What is it? How many states is it now that have it? 6 or so will be effective July 1st. Name, image, and likeness. The state of Texas, governor signed it Monday or Tuesday of this week for name, image, and likeness to go into effect on July 1st. My issues with the NCAA. Mark Emmert, I respect the title. I respect his position. I think he's awful at his job. I've said that for years on numerous podcasts in the past. They waited too long to get this done. They've known about this issue for years. I don't know why they decided to wait for politicians to get involved, and like that was going to be a panacea. And now today, Mark Emmert sent out a statement to the members, D1 members, well, all the members, NCAA members, 1, 2, and 3, that if they don't reach an agreement, he's going to put forth something for the student assets. That's how I prefer the student assets and name, image, and likeness by July 1st. Mr. Emmert, you had 3-4 years to get this done, sir. Why are you shocked that it's taking this long? Why are you shocked? Why have you made this happen? Thoughts?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, he summed it up pretty well. Yeah, we can.
Okay, go ahead, Andy. Go ahead.
And he froze, or did I freeze today?
No, I'm good.
No, it's just choppy. Go ahead, Will. You
Okay,
Is
go
my
first.
screen frozen?
You know what? I'm going to probably take an unpopular take on the name, image, and likeness. But I'm okay. I got broad shoulders. I got LeBron shoulders. I'm okay. But no. I agree with, by all means. I agree. I understand student athletes. Well, I'll say this: girl who's benefiting from this narrative that college athletes don't get paid, because they do. They have stipends. And for example, I'll give you 3 examples. Early '90s, someone very close to me lived with a Division I athlete who was on scholarship, and their stipend was $800 a month, on top of room and board, on top of scholarship, books, tuition. Every 2 weeks, they got a $400 check. Fast forward to the early 2000s, someone else close that I'm acquaintances with, their son was recruited by a Division I school, signed a national letter of intent. Their stipend was $1,500 a month. Now, $2,200 a month for a Division I student athlete stipend. But this narrative that they don't get paid, it's like, well, yeah, yes, they do. Now, is it the hundreds of thousands or thousandaires or millionaires? No. And I don't know that any athlete is asking for that. But the premise of an organization hijacking your name, image, and likeness, I get it. I do. And I understand that, yes, you should have rights to your name, image, and likeness. But I can see issues with the implementation of it across the board. Say, for example, you have a Division I student athlete, a football player, who has practice, but who's going to negotiate this deal with said entity that's going to pay this student athlete for his name, image, and likeness? And then, let's say it goes well, and then the student has a practice, but yet the organization or the business that's paying him for his name, image, and likeness for an appearance, hey, we need you at Big Booster Chevrolet for autograph signing. We'll have to go to practice. So do you not go to practice to fulfill this obligation for name, image, and likeness? Well, I can see it's a lot of gray area there. But
Sure.
Again, the premise, I understand. I'm not, by any means am I saying the NCAA is right for withholding the opportunities from athletes. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying name, image, and likeness. Yes, you should have access and control of your name, image, and likeness. I could just see issues with the implementation of the law.
Andy, what do you say? Andy?
Did I freeze?
Okay, it's like a
Can you
delay,
guys-
but yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, Kris, you summed it up pretty well in terms of it's probably taking way too long for this to happen. But I kind of wanted to add one thing with what Willy said, and another potential problem with what I'm seeing is it kind of seems like all the schools are in charge on making up their own different name, image, likeness program. And that's just going to cause more gray area, because if one school has a different policy and another has a different, especially now with the way the transfer rules are and everything, I mean, there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some controversies, and then you're going to have, this kind of brings into gray area where, people are going to use everything to recruit, and you're going to have some people say, no, leave that school, you come over here, you're going to be able to have more opportunities, you're going to have the chance to make more money and stuff like that. So with everything, there's going to be drawbacks. I do think that athletes should be able to profit off their own name, image, and likeness, especially I can't remember the specifics, but when was it? It's a while now where there was one athlete who started making money off his YouTube channel that had nothing to do with any sponsors or anything like that, and that was against NCAA rules. Like that's ridiculous. But I don't like how the NCAA kind of leaves it on the schools. I feel like there should be one uniform policy across the entire NCAA.
Agreed, and that's the issue that I have, because Will, you're right. Some schools have stipends, bigger stipends than others. Yeah, that's an issue, and I know that. I've known that for years in covering college sports. Yeah, my thing is NCAA owns the image and likeness of the student assets in perpetuity. Perpetuity. I got a problem with that.
Sure.
Andy,
Absolutely.
I agree with you about the schools. It's up to the schools. The conferences, even the conference, a conference is not, because they have different schools in different states. So different statutes, laws, bills will apply in different states. So the American can't put out a blanket statement to their members, say, okay, this is what we're going to do for name, image, and likeness, ABC through XYZ. Cincinnati was the first AAC school to announce their program, then SMU, and then South Florida. That's Ohio, Texas, Florida. 3 different states. I think 2 of the 3 are using one third party differently from the other one. So that's going to be a problem. U of H is talking about what they're going to do. Who knows what they're going to do in terms of what third party they're going to use for compliance? Got to have compliance as well. That's an issue. That's why I go back to the NCAA. Why are you putting this on your member schools? You've known about this for so long, but let's kick the can down the road and let's wait for somebody else to do it for us, and then we'll just make changes based off what they do, by what they say. That's not how an effective organization functions. And that's Mark Emmert. I'm flabbergasted at the board of directors wanting to keep him and bring him back. This man's name is mud everywhere else outside of the NCAA. Everywhere else. His name. Who respects him outside of the board of governors? Who believes he's done a good job?
No, I don't even think it's that, Kris. I think he takes the shots that they don't have to. The board of directors like, yeah, Mark Emmert, they don't care. His name is muddy. We're talking about Mark Emmert. Who's on the board of directors with NCAA? I would have to. I don't know off the top of my head, but we're not talking about them. Mark Emmert is taking every shot that's directed or meant for them. So they're like, yeah, go ahead, extension contract, yeah, give it to him.
And he's getting well compensated,
for that.
Absolutely. For that, I won't hate on him. So you're getting paid well to take those hits that the board of governors don't take.
Yep.
So get that money in that sense, but let the student athletes get their money as well off their name, image, and likeness. And please, for goodness sake, stop acting and behaving as if side deals don't happen in the NCAA. My goodness. College sports has been around 100 years. Side deals been going on for 100 years. Really? I mean,
Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Stop behaving, stop thinking in that old mindset of student athletes. They're not employees. They put in more work in their chosen athletic sport, than they do in the classroom. Many of them. They got to work out. They got to, lift. Then they got to practice on the court. Then they got to do study hall. Then they got to do this, that, and other. And they, and they got to work their class schedule around their practice schedule. So Well, what is it? What does the commercial say? 300,000 NCAA student athletes and only 0.2% go on to pro careers, and we are the NCAA. And okay, whatever. come to reality. Come join us in the real world, and then maybe you'll realize that things aren't exactly like you think. No, not exactly. Aren't like you think they are. Fellas, Hawks 51, Sixers 47 at the half. Ben Simmons played 9 minutes in the first half. 3 fouls in those 9 minutes, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 for 5 from the floor, 0 free throws. Tyrese Maxey, 18 minutes, 4 for 7 from the floor, 6 boards, 1 assist. He was a +8. He scored 9 points. Tobias Harris scored 12. Team out 12 points.
Thank you.
5 for 10 shooting. Yes. Let's see. For the Hawks, leading scorer, Trae Young scored 20. 8 for 15, 20 points in 20 minutes. Kevin Huerter was next with 15 points in 22 minutes on 6 of 8 from the floor. Clint Capella, 4 for 8 from the floor. Clint had 5 rebounds. Trae Young had 20 points, 7 assists. That's how you do it. You get teammates involved, and you score when the opportunity presents itself. Quickly, Clippers, Utah. Does Mike Conley make a difference? If he plays Game 6, does he make a positive impact to force Game 7?
I think absolutely he does. If Donovan Mitchell plays, because now Donovan Mitchell's banged up, and I think he's going to be. Have they announced? Is he still a game time decision?
I think right as of now, he's a game time decision. I think he's going to play. I mean, that's me.
Yeah.
He's not 100%. The ankle still bothering him. Closeout game. If he can walk, he's going to play. I think that's why Mike Conley's going to play as well. Okay. Assuming they both play. Does Utah force Game 7?
I feel like they should be able to, just in terms of Kawhi being out. You saw what happened in Game 5 with Paul George showed up, but he had Marcus Morris is on the place for the Clippers.
Right.
Correct. Mm-hmm. He had a big game. Reggie Jackson's turned into a big-time shot maker down the stretch whenever any teams, going back to the Maverick series and now against the Jazz, whenever they make a run, he's done a good job of hitting timely shots. Zubac has given the Clippers good minutes. Is that sustainable? That's the question.
That's my question. Will Marcus Morris score 25 again? Will he shoot well from 3 again in Game 6? Because once again, Donovan Mitchell tweeted out, "Let's go," an hour ago. So I think he's going to play.
Yeah, I think the medical staff doesn't want to sit him down anymore. He's had issues with the medical staff before about him and his availability and having missed Game 1 against Memphis. It's a controversial decision made by that, so I think he plays. But I think before I heard Conley was playing, I think Utah does force Game 7. I think they do. And I'll say this: not only force Game 7, I say they win it. I say it's Utah Phoenix.
Okay, Andy, what say you about that? Does Utah win the series in 7?
Logic. I feel like Utah should. I feel like, especially with Kawhi going down, they have the better team. I don't know. I feel like it's about time. I feel like it's time for the Clippers to finally make it to the conference finals. They have 2 chances. They have Game 6 at home. And just the way the team's been playing overall, they're a much more vet team than in years past. And they have to rely on Paul George, who had a good Game 5. Can he repeat it at least in one of those 2 games? I'm going to go with the Clippers.
Do it.
Close it out in 6.
So he's got to win it
Clippers
tonight.
in 6.
Okay. Well, Clippers lose
I think if they lose tonight, it's over. I think if they lose tonight, the Jazz win the series. I don't see them losing in Utah again. Especially unless it's somehow Kawhi plays, but it doesn't seem like it.
And that's, it was reported that I think Shams was first to report that sources say Kawhi had torn his ACL. The Clippers have not confirmed that. They're not. It's just a knee injury. Mm-hmm. They just said Kawhi's out for Game 6. No details, no specifics, or anything like that. I got Utah winning tonight because I want to see if Marcus Morris can do it again. I want to see if Reggie Jackson can do it again on offense. He's played. He scored well. He has done that, and I bashed Reggie a lot of times because I've seen him stink it up in Detroit a lot. But that's more defensively, and there's a whole bunch of other issues, you know. But he's playing well now. I want to see him do it again. But Utah, it's going to just find a way. That's what the playoffs is all about. Just find a way to win. Just win by a point. I think they're going to find a way to win tonight. And then Game 7, Utah in 7. They'll find a way again to win in 7. But let's talk as we close it out. Chris Paul, COVID. Apparently, he was vaccinated. I don't know what it was, if he got both shots or what, if he just got the Johnson & Johnson or, you know, Pfizer or Moderna or whatever. That was, you know, maybe a month or two ago in the past. But apparently he was the one, because the NBA and the Players Association weekly sends out a release about, it was an update of the COVID positive test results. This week, it was one player tested positive. We all think that was Chris Paul. We don't know if Chris Paul is showing symptoms. If the Jazz Clippers go 7, Game 7 would be Sunday. Game 1, I think, will not be until Tuesday. You know, if Chris Paul is not showing symptoms, and if he retests and all those things, he might be able to play Tuesday. You know, he'd be out. Well, the announcement was Wednesday, I think.
Mm-hmm. It was
so
Wednesday.
That's 6 days. You know, if he's tested negative since then, he might be able to play in Game 1 if it goes. Game 1 starts on Tuesday. But what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Doesn't matter for Game 1 if he only misses one game of the 7-game series.
Yeah, I think so. I do, because I think you want to set the tone. I mean, Phoenix is on a roll right now, and they have the home court advantage. If it's Utah, then no, they would be in Utah for Game 1. So right. I'll take that back. So in that respect, it's even more so. On the road, Game 1 without CP3, yeah, you gotta have it.
All right, well, I think June 22nd, you are going to be where, sir? Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be in Cleveland, Ohio, at the Cavs annual draft lottery party.
Annual. Yep.
Annual. Yes.
And it's good. It's a big day for the Rockets because if they're not a top 4, they lose the pick to OKC, and they'll pick 18th, either top 4 or 18th. So it's a big day for the Rockets. It's a big day for the Pistons. They can't fit. They don't lose their pick to anybody. They can pick no lower than 6th. Top 4 or no lower than 6. Rockets no lower than 5th, but if they pick 5th, they lose that. It goes to OKC. So I look forward to your report, sir. I look forward to that. And how can folks find you on the internet?
They will find me on social media platforms, Will Gibson 7, Instagram, as well as Twitter. Facebook is Will Knows, the Will Knows podcast. Can I say one thing that I missed when we got cut off?
Sure.
Real quick. And I tweeted this yesterday. We were talking about the job openings. Seven job openings for head coaches in the NBA. 23% of the league. If Mark Jackson does not have a head coaching position in the NBA at the end of this hiring cycle, that's the tweet. I'll leave that, as the kids say. Right, Andy? That's the tweet. I'll leave that there.
Well, real quick, Seth Curry's gone off. Starts third quarter. He's hit 3 3-pointers. Joel Embiid's hit 1. So Philly has blitzed the Hawks with 4 threes in the first 2 minutes and change to take an 8-point lead, 59-51. Ben Simmons got some assists. He got 3 assists on the buckets that Seth hit, the Seth 3-pointers. So that's what I'm talking about right there, Ben. get the ball to your teammates who can make shots. Get them involved. That's winning basketball. Too many people make basketball complicated. That really comes. Too many people make basketball sports complicated. And speaking of complications, I got to go back to. I got to bash the Bucks. Yes, they, forced the series goes 7. James Harden is injured. We all see it. Why aren't the Bucks attacking James Harden over and over and over? He can't move laterally. Do not put him in the post, because in the post, he's still strong enough, especially lower center of gravity. Well, it doesn't bother him. Yanez doesn't have a great low post game, so you got to make James move. Make him move on defense. Don't have PJ stand in a corner. The Bucks are making this too hard. James is injured. Kyrie's out. KD is great. Was sensational in Game 5. He can outdo it by himself. Make James Harden the one-legged player he is. Make it get to the point that it's so obvious that they have to take him out. Where James, man, they're attacking you all the time, man. We can't win with you being, getting beat like this on defense. Do that. Drew Holiday, stop settling for awful jumpers when James Harden is defending you. Come on, Drew. I thought you were better than this. Come on. This is basketball. This is pro sports. If your opponent is injured, that's an advantage you need to exploit. Don't ignore it. Don't make it easier for your opponent. You need to capitalize on that. That's an advantage. That's what good teams do. That's what great teams do. They take advantage of any opportunity. Coach Bud, come on, man. This series should be over. This should be over. But it's not. So who you got? Game 7.
I picked Milwaukee from the rip, so I got to rock with them. Oh, Brooklyn and
I picked Brooklyn from the beginning. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you did. I picked the
them
Bucks.
in 7.
Yep. I picked the Bucks. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to pick the Bucks. I am not confident in that pick at all, based on what I've seen, based on the coach, But if Chris Middleton goes back to the Chris Middleton of games 1 and game 2, that's going to win tomorrow. If it's Chris Middleton from game 5 and game 6, the Bucks should win. But my goodness, Kyrie's out. He's not playing.
Yep.
That means Brooklyn's depth takes a hit. Brooklyn's offense takes a hit. Blake Griffin is a shell of who he used to be. When you're not attacking James Harden, attack Blake Griffin. That's 2 of their starting 5 that can't move. That's 2 advantages right there. It's like gifts for you to take advantage of, but they're refusing to do it enough. Yanez with his 1 Euro step drive, that sometimes he can get by Blake and sometimes he does. He can't get by Blake. Jeff Green does a better job against Blake than against Yanez than Blake does, because Jeff can move a bit better than Blake. I picked the Bucks to win the series. I hope I'm right, but I have no confidence in them getting it done Saturday. I think it's going to be good ratings because of Game 7. You got Kevin Durant, you got Yanez. But I hope if the Bucks lose, it's because they did everything they could and just lost to a better team that in Game 7. I hope it's not because they blew a huge lead again and collapsed, just gave the game away. But I'm not a Bucks fan and I'm media, so I don't care if they win or lose. But my prediction was Bucks beat the Nets. Sixers are up 10, fellas.
Game 7 on Sunday.
Keep hitting threes.
They're hitting threes, yeah. They've made. They've made. I think 4 threes in the third quarter in the first 6 minutes. So, they're up 10, 66, 56. Okay. If that goes
It's not
7.
over yet, though.
Oh, well, we know that. Yeah, Philly has blown leads all throughout this series. So,
My
no
gosh.
lead is safe.
No.
If it goes 7, what you got?
Philadelphia. I have to imagine if they can pull this out, not drop. They got their double-digit lead back in Philly. Come on, the inexperienced Hawks. I feel like that'll finally catch up to them. But you never know. I don't know if it's this postseason in particular, but all these teams, they're just so unpredictable. Like, you'd expect Philadelphia to, if they can win Game 6, they should have it at home. They had a 26-point lead in Game 5 and couldn't win that one, so you never know.
It's
I
difficult.
want to say
is.
Philly. Oh, yeah, it is. You see it, right? You see it. It's written all over my face. Rude boys. Never mind.
I know you. I got you.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, let me tie this up. Can You Stand the Rain was 1988.
Oh, 88. Oh, from the 80s. Okay.
Right.
Wow. I was 16 then, and it was nowhere around.
Nowhere. I was 13.
Yeah.
Man, I want to say Philly. I really do. I really do. But Ice Trey, man. Okay, Philly and 7 at home.
Logically, you go with the home team.
Right.
But can you imagine if they get off to a slow start at home in that first quarter and the fans start booing, and even tossing stuff on the court if they're down by 15 at the first quarter, something like that. How would Philly respond to that? Would Philly be able to come back if they were down double digits at home in a Game 7? What we're seeing is there's not a great team in these playoffs. The closest to a great team so far is Phoenix. They were the healthiest, but now CP's got COVID. So we don't know how long he's going to be out. It may just be a game. What if it's the whole series? We don't know about all that. It's been an intriguing playoffs. So I'm picking Philly in 7. I mean, heck, I think I picked when we did this 2 weeks ago. I think I picked it in 5 because I thought the matchups. I believe too much in Doc Rivers and Ben Simmons. I drank that Kool-Aid, and now my eyes have been opened up wide open about Ben Simmons and his lack of overall game. So Philly in 7. I mean, I got to go with my pick, But we'll talk more. Andy, how's the job going so far, man?
A lot of information is going great. I've been busy. A lot of traveling. First 2 days I have to be in Austin. Actually, I got there on Sunday and I spent the 2 days there, but a lot of orientation. They threw a lot of information at you. Finally got to be in the Houston branch or the Houston office. I'm gonna be in Wednesday, and I've got the hang of it. Actually, got my first story published with them today. It was just a quick brief on it's cool. They're having a new golf course in just east of downtown Houston, like right on the bank of Buffalo Bayou. Okay. So that's something cool that they're gonna have.
Do you
golf
golf?
Course and a restaurant. Apparently, they're building a complex. I do not. I have never gone to golf. I've done mini golf, not in a golf course.
Will, do you golf?
I have sticks.
When was the last time you used them?
Not as much. Probably about late last year, about October. It got warm here. It was like 73. So I took them out, went to the range and hit a bucket. So yeah, October.
I used to have some sticks years and years ago. Me and a few of my friends went through that phase where we all had a set. One of the 4 of us really got bit by that bug, and he, took it further than the rest of us. But went to the driving range a few times, embarrassed myself a few times, but it's different. I wouldn't mind going to the range. I've been on a course.
Mm-hmm.
I would not mind going back to just drive range and just hit a few balls and watch them fly all around. Scare some people.
Right.
I can tell you how far I hit it, but when I struck it well, but yeah, that's definitely something you have to do consistently.
Yes.
Because you will lose the swing, everything quickly. All right, as we close it out with 3 people talking sports on Houston Roundball Review and Facebook Houston Roundball Review's Facebook page. It's a 7-point game. Hawks trail the Sixers. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. We're going to keep doing these and lead up to the start of basketball season. I might sing again next week. If you missed it, just go back to the first couple of minutes. I did sing those opening lines from King Send the Rain. I'm going to hold off on my next week when I sing lines from one of my favorite songs by Ephraim Lewis, Drowning in Your Eyes. So, yeah, I hope AJ Jones, if you missed it, man, I'm going to send you the link so you can see it for yourself and hear for yourself. But thank you, fellas, for your time as always. Will, you. Andy, how can folks find you on social media?
They can follow me on Twitter at Yanez_5, and then everywhere else it's just Yanez5. No underscore on Instagram and on Facebook. But we did not get to record obviously our podcast Pod Slam Jamma on Slam Jamma, like the old 5 Slam Jamma teams of the 80s for U of H, but we have not recorded an episode this week. We're trying to get a couple of guests on as we continue trying to create content throughout the summer, but yeah, this week's been hectic for me. So
it's different. It's difficult to get guests lined up in the summer. I got feedback from one person's PR department today, so hopefully get that person interviewed. Still haven't heard from my queen. Set her up for an interview. Scheduled up with her for an interview. Got a few other people. I did interview Rice South women's basketball coach Lindsay Edmonds. That interview is on my YouTube channel, Houston Roundball Review. They signed a transfer from Wright State, Alexis Stover today. So, yeah. So signed her, announced it today. U of H women will be in Cancun for a tournament, Thanksgiving, Thursday through Saturday. Might surprise some folks and be there for that. Working on trying to make that happen because Baylor will be there. Baylor,
Kris, that's when I wish I was still with the Cougar.
So, yeah, UCF from Americans also going to be there. And while that's going on, the men's team is going to be in Maui for the Invitational there. So good things for both the U of H men's basketball programs. I got to say this. I'm a businessman. I finally started to promote more of my work as a web affiliate for Fanatics.com. I got team links on my site, HoustonRoundballReview.com, specific team pages where you can go buy your gear for these teams like U of H, Rice, TSU, Texas Southern, Texas Longhorns, Texas A&M Aggies. As long as you go to the links posted on my website, HoustonRoundballReview.com, I do earn a commission on that. And if you got a team, your favorite team, you like their specific link, just hit me up. And if it's available on Fanatics, I'll send it to you. And you get your gear of your favorite team. You'll be happy, and I get some commission out of that too. So it's all good. It all works together. We're all in this together. I'm Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review, HoustonRoundballReview.com, Houston Roundball Review on YouTube, Houston Roundball Review on Instagram. Twitter is the HR Review. Gentlemen, thank you very much once again for joining me. It was good to chop it up. We went long today. That's fine. Because this is live. We can do what we want to do. So we can do this again, and we'll try to do again. I guess next Friday, or we'll work it out. We'll schedule it again and just try to build the audience. We had some folks tuning in more, and hopefully word to get around. We'll get more people popping in and out right now as we're going past the 60-minute mark. So I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. I don't know if that's it's good to start later. You know, these are the night owls or folks who got off work or they read Andy's tweet about it, or they heard that I sang in the first 2 minutes of the show and they missed it and try to
That's what it
again.
was.
You know what? If you missed my singing, just gotta wait for the rebroadcast of the live stream to be on Houston Roundball Review on YouTube. But did I do okay?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You did good.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mike Conley is available to play, so Mike's going to play too. Mike and Donovan Mitchell are playing tonight. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So Jazz will win game 6. So it's fun. It has not been the prettiest basketball of these playoffs. A lot of injuries and, it's been attrition. But that's okay. We're still watching. We're still talking about it. And it's fun. We're enjoying it. We're going to keep doing it. And I think hopefully the more we do these shows, these live streams, we'll start, we'll begin taking some topics from viewers and we'll just kick around and chop it up with that. And we'll, you being a Big Ten guy, you can talk some when the season starts, you can talk some Big Ten hoops. And Andy, you're not with the Cougar anymore. You're in the real world, but you can still talk U of H hoops. So,
sure,
we'll just keep doing that. And we got a YouTube question. You think Conley will significantly help the Jazz against the Clippers? Significantly? I don't know about that, but his presence will help.
Yeah, I think it could be significant. Yeah, can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yeah, go ahead,
yeah. Okay, cool. I was gonna say I think it does significantly just because it makes it allows Donovan Mitchell to be off ball a lot more. He doesn't have to worry about. He can just focus on being a scorer and creating when he has to, not being forced into that point guard role. I feel he's a lot more comfortable off ball, not having to worry about setting everything up. So I think it'll be a big addition for the Jazz. And like I said, no Kawhi. The pressure's on the role players of the Clippers to have another good game, because if they don't, Paul George is a good player, but he can't do it by himself. And the Jazz are a real good team, so I think it's big for Utah.
Yeah, I think it's common. It's really common sense, and we make things difficult. When a team loses a player to injury, this year COVID, it impacts the rotation. And that's a factor. It impacts the minutes for guys who were not used to getting a lot of minutes. So Mike Conley coming back will help stabilize the rotation, will help return guys to roles they're accustomed to. So I think that will help. But I will say this: it's on the Clippers to attack Mike Conley. Let's see how healthy the hamstring is. Let's see how much you can do side to side. We're going to make you work. We're going to make you move around and chase us. It's on them to do that. Don't do the Bucks. Don't do what the Bucks are doing. Make Conley move. Make him mobile. And if that hamstring is still iffy and he can't move side to side and he can't play a lot of minutes, then his absence, and if he has to miss the rest of the game, then that will hurt Utah. But that's on the Clippers to do that. Don't have Mike Conley defending somebody in the corner, just standing out there, resting. What the Bucks do for James Harden. So we'll see if Ty Lue and the staff does that. Should be a fun one. We got how much time we got left in the game here? It's now a 5-point game with 25 seconds left in the third quarter. Sixers are leading. So fourth quarter should be fun. So let's close it out and we go watch the fourth quarter. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the comments that we did get on YouTube. This is going to grow. This is our goal, to grow, and we're going to just have fun with it. And hopefully at some point, the more we grow, we'll get to a point where we have sponsors. I mean, why lie? This is business. It's fun, but if we can make some money out of it, hey, why not? Let's do that too. So thank you for the question. Thank you for tuning in. Guys, thank you once again for joining me. And it looks like we had a blue shirt vibe.
Yeah, I was going to point that.
We did.
So just one of those things. But But yeah, I feel underdressed because y'all got on collars and I just got on, my Poetry or Die shirt from back in the day. But maybe, once we get really big and successful, we'll start dressing up with collared shirts and things like that, like to do, like the big time folks do on TV. Get to that level. So, hey, let's aim high. Let's do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, fellas, let's go watch the fourth quarter. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next week.
All right, boss. Appreciate you.
Sure.